everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for August 7th, 2020, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you can picture or see yourself as walking on a suspended bridge, and you look at the bridge and you say, well, there's some holes, and it doesn't look that safe, but you can see some areas where you could probably maneuver and get through it. So you say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So you have to focus on where you're stepping. Okay, now if you were just on a solid surface, a sidewalk or something, road, and you walked along, you wouldn't normally look down at where you were stepping. You would just take it for granted and just go, on your way. But this particular bridge, you have to be careful of where you step, because in this matrix, in this illusion that we're in, there's times where you're out of the matrix from the standpoint of you're in a higher frequency, so you're not involving yourself emotionally as the ego dictates to the heart. The ego mind dictates to the heart mind. You get emotional and irritation. So especially now, since things are transforming so quickly, that you can get tricked back into 3D, and it's through emotionality. So the bridge that you're walking on, now you know the areas, you're sure that you can walk on them and it's no issue, so you're not really, it's not an emotional situation for you. And then you can see other areas that you know that if you step on them, your foot could fall through. And you could get scraped and scratched, and of course it would be an emotional experience. It's so different than if you get caught up in things that are occurring around you. Unfortunately, that frequency is not your frequency. It isn't yours. But as soon as you step through that weak part of that bridge and you fall, your foot gets thrown through, you have to hold yourself and make sure you don't fall all the way through. You pull yourself out. But your emotion, your heart mind, you get angry, you get frustrated, you really could have, emotionally kind of like a meltdown. This is all negative energy. It's all low frequency. This is the challenge that some of us will be faced with from time to time as this transition continues to accelerate on this planet. And the reason is that people say, well, if I'm not in it, why is it affecting me? Because you choose for it to be. It's the only reason. When you're awake and aware, you understand that as tempting as it is tempting, because it's something that we are used to from old habits, old ways, in an old world that is no longer able to retain us or contain us. And so from time to time, you might get irritated, stressed, and it will pull, your frequencies will go down, and you will be back into a 3D or lower frequency that causes you to get upset. Now, what happens when you get upset is that, and okay, you get over it. Let's say you get over it. It isn't done, because it's a loop. And when you do get involved in something that is emotional for you, and it isn't a high emotion, it's a low, you begin this loop of energy, and the loop comes back to you. And it's based upon where you're at emotionally that dictates to what kind of frequency is going to come back to you. Now, if you're in a low frequency because you became upset about something that's external, but it affects you internally, emotionally, and you become upset, you drop in lower frequencies, of course, and you begin this loop. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it will affect you in the same way when this loop keeps coming back to you. But you're drawing on low frequencies. You got to remember that. So once you step into them and you begin drawing them, they're going to come back into you. It could be in any way, shape, or form. It's not necessarily going to be the same way, but it will. Have you ever noticed that when you do get irritated, it could be the littlest thing, a little primer that does it, that causes you to become irritated, frustrated, hurried, upset. And did you ever notice that the course from that point forward of your day, night, whatever, it becomes more. It's like the whole day. Boy, you ever done this? I'm sure glad that day's over. That was one heck of a, not a pleasant day. Why is where everything seems to go wrong? Everything. Nothing works right. Nothing goes right. Do you want to know why? Because it is our frequency and energy that dictates what we're going to experience. It doesn't mean we know what we're going to experience. It dictates what we're going to experience. Now imagine that. You don't know what you're going to experience, but you're the one that's literally laying the game plan, and so the universe answers and says, okay, so here. And that's why sometimes we have a day that's just like, and it could have been that morning where you did, it did not have to be catastrophic or huge. Could have been a little thing, just a little spark that started the frequency. Now, you inadvertently embraced it, and you kind of subtly went with it. And so throughout the day, you're the magnet, remember, and you're sending out this loop of energy, and it's literally pulling in similar frequencies to accommodate you. And that's why we have these types of days that are like we go, I'm glad that's over. Glad that day's over. Now, it's the same with anything. Doesn't make any difference what it is. And so people say, well, how do you maneuver that? How do you maneuver it? Well, you can have and this takes discipline, but after a while it's autopilot. You can have a massive, just all kinds of externalities going on around you. I mean, everything under the sun. Now, a lot of people think you're off your rocker, but you choose to be happy. Then what reason do I not have to be happy? I'm in this body, I'm experiencing this life. That's it right there. So you choose to be happy, so you're happy. You can be happy anytime you want. You don't need to be doom and gloom, only if you fall in those lower frequencies. Okay? Do you think being sad is good? Is where we're taught these things. Do you think that stress, anxiety, and fear is good? That you should embrace that and have that every day? Well, of course not. You don't. And here's another twist to it. You imagine, and this is where we become much more finite with ourselves, that we know how sensitive our aura, our frequencies are, because we're connected to everything. All people, all walks of life, we're connected to everything. It doesn't mean we know that consciously. Some of us do. So you navigate. So you imagine that you can experience other people's suffering as if it's yours. You can experience other people's anger as if it's yours. Now, you're not going to be able to differentiate this. You won't. Most of us don't. We think it's ours because of the close relationship we have with the One, all of us. We have an intimate relationship with each other, and we don't know it because of the third dimensional frequency we had been in for so long. And so somebody who is in, let's say someone who is looking at leaving the body, okay, ascending out of the body, and you may know them well, could be a neighbor, could be a friend, whatever. And in fact, it could be a loved one, or it could be someone you don't even know. And you take on their fear. Experience that. You're just kind of going along with your day, and all of a sudden you get this sinking feeling, and this fear, this foreboding, this just kind of overshadowing, and you kind of go, and you could just be hopping right along, happy-go-lucky, skipping to the loo. And this comes over you. Well, it isn't yours. It is someone else's. And so a lot of the times we get hit with those frequencies. And it's up to us to determine, okay, I know this isn't mine. So how do I alleviate it? Whatever the feeling, you encase the feeling that you're having in love. So what that does is it diffuses the fear or whatever it is that's come over you. And this is important for us to understand this, especially in this volatile stage of ascension for the planet and the population. So when you have this come in, you go with the flow, you surrender, you don't fight, and it will dissipate. From the heart, mind of deep love that literally encases it, and then it will ease away. You can experience emotion with your pets. You can take on whatever their emotion is. Now, a lot of us don't understand that, so we think it's ours. It isn't. People say, well, how do you differentiate which yours and which not? Because that's how you learn how to know yourself. Then you'll be able to differentiate. If you don't know yourself, it's one big confusion. So we have a tendency to embrace everything that comes our way that we think it's ours. We think this is coming from me. And a lot of the times it isn't coming from you. And none of us are exempt from it. So you realize that just walking around, driving or flying or whatever it may be, or sitting somewhere with a group of people, you can pick up other people's frequencies, their emotions, and thinking it's yours. But when you know yourself and you're just humming along, going with the flow, downstream thinking, and then you have these emotions. These aren't mine. I know that. I know who I and what I am. These are not mine. They're someone else's. And you begin to understand that you're the navigator with this in this existence. So you literally, as you become more aware, determine the turn that you're going to make. Are you going to go left or right at the intersection? Or are you going to go straight? So this happens, and understand with all the fear, and then you have the anger of those not wanting to do things that they're being told to do because they're somewhat awake. It's that kind of energy, uneasiness, not knowing, fear of the unknown, all of these things. You're aware, you become aware that you're very conscious, aware of your feelings, your emotions. That's why I always say it goes back to you. It's always about you. Each of us, it's always about ourselves. It's not about everything around us. This is very important as we navigate this transition. And we're not talking about doom and gloom. We're just talking about something that's been around for a very long time, as long as we've been around. So doesn't it make sense that since you're part of everything, you're part of all source creation, how can you not be connected to all things? And not just figuratively, you're literally connected to all things. You know, there are sparks within them. We're all one. It's like all of the other animals, because we're animals. We're just we're in a physical form that's more advanced than other animals on the planet. So this is why you understand that life is the highest value in the universe. Because when you destroy another, you destroy part of you. You see? That's a fact. Now, it may not be a huge chunk. It could be just a fractional grain of sand, but that's the case. Now, it's different if you're trying to survive, to feed the body and everything, that you take another life, another animal, so that you can, provide sustenance for yourself. It's different, because then you thank the spirit for giving up its vessel to nourish you. So if you understand this planet, this living, breathing organism, that houses a God within it, you begin to realize that it provides sustenance for all life. All life. Think about that. All life on this planet, in it, above it, and below it. This spirit, this God, this planet, feeds, nurtures, houses, clothes, supports, protects all life on the planet. That's one heck of a job. So, when you begin to view all this and understand it, then you understand, you comprehend the fact is that I know why some of these times I have these waves come in that aren't mine. It's just like we talk about your thoughts. Your thoughts, most of them aren't yours. We live off of others' thoughts. We embrace them as ours. They're not ours. That's why sometimes they don't feel right. That's not just something that is just happenstance. There's no such thing. It's because you're aware in a way, these aren't my thoughts. Even if they're attached to experiences you've had, and they come in out of the clear blue, they're not your thoughts. They're others' thoughts. And since we're all connected, we're all one, this is normal. It happens all the time, especially for those who are not conscious. They're not conscious. When you look at all the things happening on this planet, and you look at others and you go, why are they doing that? You ever catch yourself saying that? I don't understand why they're doing that. Because for you, the frequency is totally different. So you look at that and you go, man, that's whack. That's really whack. That's just not right. Because you're at a higher vibrational frequency, and you're in more consciousness than they are. That's the only difference, say. So you look at it from both perspectives, and you understand this, and so you're not disturbed about it. You're not disturbed about it. You know who and what you are to a certain extent, so you go with the flow, and you embrace the love that you are, and then you continue to shine the love around everywhere you go. This is the transition for the planet. Each of us are omnipotently powerful light beacons who are pulsating out our love, our light from our gods to others. It doesn't diminish us. It's not using energy or power. It is because it's opening up the conduit to others who have closed their conduits off because they're not conscious. They're not consciously aware they're conscious. See? So as you walk around, you're opening up the conduits to their gods. And then as their gods within them begin to assist them to wake up, and to wake up and understand exactly what the landscape is showing them. And this is huge transition for the civilization of this planet. It's massive. And it doesn't mean that everybody's going to go flow with it. There's going to be a lot that are not conscious that are going to fight it all the way. And understand, since you're conscious, you're going to pick it up. You're going to feel some of it. You're going to find yourself getting angry, frustrated, and upset. And here's a great analogy. You take one being and another being, and you drop them both off in the middle of nowhere. And you say to both of them, you've got 3 weeks to survive just on your creativity. Now, we put you off in an area where there's water and there's shelter, food and stuff, but you have to get it. And you have to use the materials to create your shelter. You have to use how you're going to access the water and drink it. So, and the shelter and how you're going to put it together. Now, here's the big difference between going with the flow, confidence through the heart mind with yourself, and being conscious. And the other end is being unconscious, not consciously aware, and not going with the flow and always fighting every inch of the way. One is composure, control, understanding. The other is sheer panic, frustration, anxiety, and fear. Which one survives? Which one? Obviously, the downstream thinker, one that's composed, that knows themselves, and is going with the flow, and isn't getting freaked out and panicking. That's the one that will survive. The other one will perish because they are not in focus with themselves and who and what they are, and they're not consciously aware of who and what they are, so therefore they're being seduced and embraced by the lower dark matter frequencies and survival matter frequencies. So it's so different now. Those of us who are going with the flow, when you look at things, you go, okay, that doesn't concern me. It's not part of me. It's not something that I give attention to. And you maneuver. Question for you. How do you know that in a group of people that are being directed to do something, how do you know how many of them are conscious and how many of them aren't? Well, you would think that the ones that are conscious wouldn't be participating in a herd mentality, would you? Okay. Now, when I talk about going with the flow, I mean just going with the flow on everything. This keeps you out of the low vibrational frequency. When you don't go with the flow, you're in low frequency. Now, a lot of people look at going with the flow as that you're weak and you're giving in and you're giving up. It's the opposite. Your strength guides you from the God within, and so you maneuver things. When you have obstacles, what do? If you're conscious, you look at them and you say, okay, not a big deal. I'll be able to maneuver around or through this or over it. And keep looking forward and keep moving forward. Now, the saturation point between negative and positive. The saturation point is that those who are mixed in with the negative and the low vibrational frequencies literally lift those frequencies if they stay in a flow with themselves and they stay in love, gratitude, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. They shift the frequency almost immediately. You could literally, I guarantee you that, try it if you haven't already. If somebody walks by or you're in a grocery store or a store, you're out and about, there's a group of people, they're all wearing masks. And you go, okay, well, not a biggie. So how can you influence the frequencies so that they begin to wake up and not care to wear them? How do you think you can do that without, trying to sell them, which is pretty futile? You beam out the godlight energy within you, so you open the curtains. That's it. That's all you do. Let her shine. When you see people like that, you just literally shower them with gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. Don't have to talk to them. Don't have to know them. Period. That's all you do. And you do it through the heart-mind. And you keep moving forward and going forward, walking forward. And you'll be amazed what happens. You could be behind someone in line somewhere and just focus on the back of their neck, back of their head, and all you do is send to their God within them love. That's it. Love is the God within them. Now, you also understand that, what do you think Jesus did? Jesus, the people, bicameral people, when he was around, they didn't get it. So what he did is he used the God within them to heal them. That's what he did. You cannot heal someone unless the God within is in tune or connected to the God within you. Once you do that, it is a mutual understanding that frequency and energy changes, and you heal people. They're healed. Diseases, whatever it may be. This is no different. Do you think you don't have that ability? You do. You do. But you see, the ego mind and how you've been, influenced and trained in certain frequencies, you don't believe that. And if you don't believe it, then it isn't. Even if it shows up at times, you'll just dispel it. You'll blow it off. It's no big deal. So, remember the image that you're in the boat going downstream and you have no oars. Remember the image of the others who are literally beet red, sweating profusely, and grinding and digging against the current. It's a big difference. So in these absolutely frequently shifting attention. Choose to go with the flow and see what happens. Choose to shine your light everywhere you go on those who are in the dark. That's it. The inside, the energy and frequency in you is harmony, balance, peace and joy, happiness. And then you can choose for yourself, do I choose to be happy? No matter what's going on, no matter what's happening. Do I choose to be happy? Or do I choose to be frustrated, stressed out, fearful? Where the point comes where I'm expending energy unnecessarily by yelling, screaming, and being all upset with things around me. So think about this. You can cultivate a constant state of happiness no matter what. And it's always there. All of these things are always there. What boat are you going to be in? What boat are you going to choose to be in? Not temporarily, permanently. What boat? Is it going to be the one that's just going downstream, and the power of the current is just pulling you down effortlessly, pulling you downstream? Or is it going to be the one where you're fighting upstream, grimacing, gripping every single inch of the way, not knowing when you're going to ever meet your destination? This meditation doesn't make sense to a lot of people out there, but what boat are you going to choose? What boat? The downstream boat or the upstream against the current boat? So if you will, go to a place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we desire to do is to relax our bodies. When your body's relaxed, you have a lesser chance of being seduced into anger, into fear, into stress, into confusion, period. When your body's relaxed. So you talk with the body. It's time to relax, body. We're going into meditation. Drop the shoulders. Let's depressurize and let everything go that is attached. Let everything go. Relationships, things, materialism, just let it all go. Surrender. Where the body becomes so light it starts to float up. And you'll know it as you relax. And as you relax the body, you move into the now. And what is the now? It is all that we have. It is moment to moment. It is concentrating and focusing on the moment. Maybe you're sitting outdoors just enjoying the sun and the breeze and the trees, and that's all you're doing. But you're in that moment. Your mind isn't off into the future or off into the past. It's only in that moment. And when you go into the moment to moment, you still the mind, you still the ego mind, you still the chatter, the noise that we all have. And if you go into the past like all of us do at times, you reminisce, it's great, it's wonderful. You know, going over wonderful experiences most of the time in the past. But then we know it's gone, it's over. Kaput. So we know to stay into the now. Because if we stay too much in the past, too long, we will then take that past, bring it into a future that doesn't exist, create the future from that past, and we live that past in that future. And then say, I feel like I've been running in circles my whole life. And then, do we go into the future that doesn't exist? Why? There isn't any. We're creating the future in the now, moment to moment, the space between heartbeats. We still the mind. We are in peace, contentment. We aren't demanding anything. We aren't seeking anything. We have no expectations. We have no attachments. We're just flowing. We're in the boat going downstream. Current takes us. So also, as we relax the body and we move into the now and we're in the now, we want to breathe. Breathing is absolutely paramount. I haven't come across anybody who doesn't have to breathe, that never breathes and just exists without breathing. Not on this planet. So your breath is like, it's divine positive energy because it sustains the temple of God. Your temple is your body. It houses the God, the pure consciousness within it. And so the breath sustains the body. But we all know, comparatively speaking, that if we don't breathe, we have to leave the body. The body can't breathe, we'll leave the body. So the breath, being divine positive energy from source creation, we're seated in a comfortable position, and our 7 chakra points, energy vortexes, and they kind of look like flowers, different kinds of flowers and petals, geometric shapes. And they're connected to our glands and organs in the body. And they're responsible for uniform distribution of our God energy, our chi. And the God energy is pulled through them, through each one. Now, when we have a disruption in this life, energy, or a blockage in any one or more of our chakras, then we'll suffer from health or mental issues. So the chakras form the energy ecosystem of every one of us, and a deficiency in this ecosystem can wreak havoc in the different areas of our lives. So as we bring in our divine positive energy, we take it nice and easily in through our noses, and we move up through the center of our bodies, right, starting at the root chakra, the red chakra, the Muladhara. This is energy, this is stability, comfort, safety. I am. You keep an eye on the little guy, the ego, because the ego doesn't want you to be doing this. Then we move it up through the orange wheel of light, the sacral chakra, the Vadhisthana, sensuality, sexuality, pleasure, sociability, I feel. Then through the yellow wheel of light, solar plexus chakra, the Manipura, strength, personality, power, determination, I do. And then up through the green wheel of light, the heart chakra, the Anahata, acceptance, love, compassion, sincerity, I love. And then up through the blue wheel of light, the throat chakra, the Vishuddha, communication, expression, creativity, inspiration, I talk. And then up through the third eye chakra, the violet wheel of light, the Ajna, intuition, lucidity, meditation, and trust, I see. And then to the purple wheel of light, the crown chakra, the Sahasrara, knowledge, consciousness, fulfillment, spirituality, I understand. So we bring it all the way up to the top of the head, a little bit to the back. In a brief moment, we hold it. I am light, I am love, I am. And in that brief moment, we compress and condense it into pure liquid energy. and we immediately release it over the pineal gland. Now, the pineal gland is a very important organ for us while we're in these bodies. It is the gateway to old particles of existence. It's the gateway to pure consciousness. It's the gateway to beyond. So by doing this visualization, this effort to awaken the pineal gland with this pure liquid energy, you look at the pineal gland, you can see it as a prune, as a raisin, however you view it. I look at it as, or a pine cone. You look at it, I look at it as a rosebud, like a green ball. And when I release this liquid, pure liquid energy, it immediately blossoms. It blooms into a rose, multicolored petals, eternal, thus restoring the pineal gland into full function, full wonderful health, and opening up all the gateways. Now, we're all consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. And we're one. We're merged with the heart, mind, spirit, the soul, the higher self, the God, the body, all one. And we're consciously aware. And we have others, archangels, cherubim, seraphim, the archetypes. All of them are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest. That way, we've been assisting each other throughout the eons. Now, they vibrate at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them like we see each other. They can appear in humanoid form to give us a message or just to visit with us. It happens all the time. So be grateful and thankful that when that happens with you, whenever it happens with you. Now, some of them can surround us at any one time in the thousands in numbers. The reason is because their vibrational frequency is different and higher. They can literally have thousands in a small space. Now, we also have the Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda Jesus, El Moria, Abundantia, Pell Thought, many, many, many more. These are those who have ascended out of physical form and maintain God form, pure consciousness. Do they come back into physical form? Very rarely. Once in a while, maybe, but very rarely. They've mastered the ascension into pure consciousness. And they're helping us all the time, and we're helping them. After all, we're all one. We're all connected. Each experiencing different pathways, ending up at the same place, all with source creation. Now they're consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. They assist us and we assist them. And we're all gathered for this massive global meditation here on planet Earth, Gaia Arya, and this now, and this forming of the circle of light. So we call out, we invite all the other facets, aspects of ourselves from the one. So we call out to all light energy beings and all that there is ever happened. Consciously aware that they are of the highest and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. can be with us in this now, in this meditation of forming the circle of light. Now they come in the gogaplexes. One gogaplex fills this universe. They come in the trillions from every direction. And they are with us now. We call upon all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, beneath earth. Many, many, many civilizations and species, only those who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us in this now, in this meditation, and the forming of the circle of light. They come in the billions. On all the off-worlders, all the galactics, all the celestials, only those who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude, can be with us in this now, this meditation, forming the circle of light. Over 1,000 of them travel through this solar system every day. And we're only familiar with a fraction, and this includes all of their levels, all of their species, and we have the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, Zeta Reticuli, Feline, the Greys, the Nords, Draco, Reptilian, the Old Pyramid, Navion, many, many, many more. They've been assisting us in our evolution, our enlightenment, our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And they come in the billions. And they are with us now. We call upon all of our loved ones, all of those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Only those who are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude can be with us in this now, in this meditation, and the forming of the circle of light. And they come in the billions, and they are with us now. We call upon all the light energy beings who have decided to be housed in the following forms on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now, in this meditation of forming the circle of light. We're only familiar with a fraction of them. They come in the trillions, shapes, colors, sizes, forms, configurations, of which we have never seen before. And they are consciously aware that they are of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal love, and of and from the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest eternal gratitude. The fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, trees, trolls, elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, mermaid, dolphin, the whale, Pegasus, unicorn, centaur, the minotaur, many, many, many more. And they are with us now. We're all gathered. Massive liberation of this planet and the civilizations. Arm in arm, hand in hand, all of our gods as one. We are in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, and abundance. We are all one. We are all love. We are all God. And our God light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We form this massive circle of light the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now, this meditation. It is so bright, it comes from the gods within each and every one of us. Limitless. It would take over 1 billion of the suns in this solar system to compare to the brightness of this light. It grays out the darkness of space. It is pure, eternal, deep love and gratitude. It bathes, saturates, and floods everything and everything. All of our brothers and sisters on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. Eternally, saturating all of us. You could feel the warm waves continually pulsing through our existence. Now, we start to ascend up above the planet, and as we do that, we're met with this beautiful gossamer field. It is everywhere, and it is trillions of vibrant colors, reflecting, flashing, and glittering all around us, through us, and it's pure, deep, eternal love. It is all the assets, all the aspects, all the facets of all of us. Then we continue to descend more, and we're met immediately with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is the column that reminds us all that each of us is the power of healing. Then we're met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column that reminds us that we are omnipotently powerful, strong, and resolve. Then we're met with the white fire. This column reminds us that we are all imbued head to toe, inside and out, with an impenetrable white fire. It cannot be violated from any external source or power. It cannot be breached. You cannot be harmed ever. But you, and only you, have the power, if you choose, to lower your vibrational frequency deeply enough where you create a breach in your white fire armor, and therefore allowing the lower dark matter frequencies and lower survival matter frequencies to come rushing in. Now, if you do decide to do this, you are then met with the purple transmuting flame. This column reminds you that you can pull in the purple transmuting flame if you do this with the lower frequencies. And you can transmute them all into neutralized substance. You send them back to pure consciousness where they are no longer. The violet ray. This column reminds you that you can bring the violet ray in right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleanse and purify the area where these frequencies were, and then reinstating your white fire armor field to the highest of the deepest eternal love and gratitude. Then we are all met with the golden white pink light. This is a column that reminds us of what we're made of, how we were created. Pure, deep, eternal love, gratitude, gentleness, kindness. It all stems from pure, deep, eternal love. We see it in the sunsets, sunrises. We see it in our skies, the purples and the oranges and the pinks and the blues at times. We see it in our oceans, in our trees and forests. We see it everywhere. It always reminds us that we are love. Which is why we are so in awe of the beauty that we all are, of the divinity, of the perfection, of the gods within us. Now, some of us, as we continue to ascend in this circle of light, decide to step out of our physical bodies and just hover effortlessly above them. All of us carrying physical form. So we continue to move upward, and as we do, we come upon this massive crystalline light tower. Now, we created this tower. It is larger than the solar system, and we designed it just like any crystal, where you can see into it, but we see this pulsating, trillions of vibrant reflective lights. It's like pulsing and humming, sending out waves of the purest of deepest eternal love and gratitude, endlessly, flooding all of our brothers and sisters, everything and everything. This intensity that is being flooded and saturated and bathed upon us all and in us all is so powerful that the frequencies are shifting at such an accelerated rate the Paradise Planet is formed, the God Planet, the new world, the world of joy, honesty, humbleness, the world of immortality, the world of no disease is already formed and continues to be propagated. This frequency is so intense. Now we look at the top of this crystalline light tower, and we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, flooding all of us, everything and everything, with deep eternal love and gratitude, bliss, joy, peace, all of that which we are, awakening all things. Now each of us are droplets of that ocean, that golden ocean, and we all contain the essence of that golden ocean. This is magnificently powerful. It is the highest of the highest high frequencies in all existence and beyond. So we continue to ascend up, and we look a little bit to the left, and we see this massive meditative sphere. We created this sphere well over 2 years ago. It said center circle. It houses all of our meditations in vibrational frequency perpetually. All of the deepest eternal love and gratitude intent from all of us every day, now past over 900 and continuing to intensify and continuing to expand every single day. Millions and millions of us, on-world and off-world, are all here with this intent. All part of Source Creator. Cannot be stopped, cannot be diffused, period. That's why this meditative sphere can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is why it continues to intensify, and this is why it continues to expand. We are the love, we are the God, we are the one. And we are shifting the frequencies of this planet and this civilization into 5-dimensional frequency and beyond. It is apparent. And what do you choose for yourself? What boat do you desire to be in? The downstream boat or the upstream boat? The choice that you make is permanent. So you choose wisely. Do you care to be in 3-dimensional frequency again?